joining in early. So we have few people joining in. As you guys can see on the screen, we have around 3 minutes or so before we officially begin at 7. So really glad to see a couple of people who have just joined. Okay, we'll take a few minutes to warm up a room a little bit and kind of set the theme for the day. Till then, let's wait for other people to join. All right, rather than keeping the room so quiet, let's kind of interact a little bit then. Whoever have joined, Dipesh and Avinandini, really glad you guys are here and would really appreciate if you guys can turn on your video. That is going to make the room feel much more interactive. And if you guys are fine with it, please feel free to turn on your, unmute yourself and let us know what your name is, where you guys are joining from, and what you expect to get out of the session today. Dipesh, do you want to go ahead? Go first.
So hey, I'm from Nepal. So my name is Dipesh and I'm from Nepal. So I'm actually very excited to learn about AI, and it's actually very morning over here, and I just joined for this session particularly. Yeah,
One.
that's it.
Actually, Dipesh is also one of the team member for Leadership Speaker Series. Is handling all the marketing side and see the dedication waking up early in the morning to join the event.
Great.
That's
Great.
wonderful.
Thank you, Deepesh. Yeah.
Thank you, Dipesh. All right, we're gonna wait a couple minutes more to let people join in.
Yeah, because the link only appears at 7, Alicia.
Is it?
For a lot of people that's on the phone, it only shows up when it's 7. So that's why.
I guess that's fine too. We can just wait. So it's 7, I see, but I know people might have access to the link just now, so they should be joining. Let's wait just a few more minutes, and then we're officially going to begin. I'm excited about that as well. For now, let's take a minute or so. All right, let's get started then. Uh, Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nepali Leaders Network's Leadership Speaker Series. It's a space, and at Nepali Leaders Network, our mission has always been simple: to empower emerging and established Nepali leaders to connect, to grow, and to give back. Leadership Speaker Series is one of the many ways we do that. It's a space where we bring real conversation, real lessons, and real experiences to our community member. And today, our featured guest is Mr. Sudeep Regmi, Head of Enterprise Data Management and Innovation at Takeda, with over 20 years, 20 plus years of global leadership experience across AI, enterprise data, and cloud transformation and digital modernization. He's not just building AI systems. He's basically shaping how large enterprise use AI responsibly at scale. So everyone, join me in welcoming the speaker of the day today, Mr. Sudeep Regmi. Sudeep Bhai, welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. It's a great privilege to be here and talk to all of you guys today. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Really glad we could make this happen. I know the audience is excited. Me being coming from a data field myself, I'm really excited to learn about different frameworks. So it's going to be a wonderful session. All right, everyone. I just wanted to let you guys know as well that Sudeep Dai is also one of the judges for our upcoming Nepal US AI Hackathon 2026, which is one of the biggest, maybe the second biggest hackathon that has ever happened for Nepali students, right? So if you guys are interested, if it's something that you are really wondering how to join and everything about, go ahead and search for Nepali Leaders Network in your Instagram or in your LinkedIn, and go ahead, you will find the link in the bio. Go ahead, register and get the application filled up. Okay. All right. Here's how today will flow. We'll start with a few guided conversation with a few structure questions that will build on each other to create a kind of framework around data career and everything. After that, we'll open it up for the audience Q&A. So this time you guys have an option in the Q&A session to raise your hand, unmute your mic, and ask the question directly to the speaker. Okay, that's going to be a wonderful part of the session. At the end, we are also planning to do something called rapid fire round, where I'll be asking 8 to 10 different questions to Sudeep Dai, and you will have like 2 hours max to answer each one of them. So that way we have like a summary of whole 60 minutes in just 60 seconds. That'll be fun. And before we wrap up, I'll be dropping a short feedback form in the chat so you guys can take a minute or two to fill out and let us know how we did in the session today and what you would love to see in the future sessions. All right, with that, let's dive in then. Sudeep Dai, how do you feel?
I feel great, but I live in the Boston area, and we had a couple of a snowstorm last couple of days. So, I think this is the best thing is happening in last 2 days. I'm talking to all of you.
Wow.
It's great to be here.
Really glad that you are here, right? Really excited to learn more from your experience. Let's start right here. I really want to learn about this actually. So, AI has exploded in just a few years, like last few years. When you started, I know AI, data career, and tech, all these things weren't as trendy as they are right now, right? So when did you decide to kind of seriously lean into data and AI career, especially given the ecosystem, mentorship, and the hype around AI didn't exist the way it does now? What motivated you?
Yeah, this is a great question. One thing I need to put a disclaimer here, right? So most of the thing I'll be explaining and talking to all of you is my own opinion, right? There is a nothing to relate it to Takeda or any other company, but because I wanted to make sure that I give unbiased information the way I see it. Okay. So when I started my career, in fact, the enterprise resource planning and the coding was in hype. So everybody wanted to work on the enterprise resource planning type of applications, like either it's SAP or Oracle. And I also was working on those areas. I was working as an enterprise within the enterprise resource planning and transformation programs. So what happened was my previous boss, asked me to work on a data warehouse project early 2004, 2005. Data warehouse and data mart were very new at the time. When he asked me to work on that, I was very thrilled to learn about it, but I was not telling that to anybody because, if I felt that if I tell anybody that I work on data warehouse or data mart type of programs, they will ask me to work more on those areas, which I never wanted to work on them. I wanted to work more on ERPs. So I did not disclose. My resume never spoke about the data warehouse, data mart, always focused on ERP and implementation side, right? Then suddenly what happened was sometime in 2012, there was a big buzzword about digital transformation. And then we started talking about as a part of digital transformation, data plays a major role. And suddenly then I felt that I need to disclose my data career, which I was doing before. And then I really started working as a data leader from 2012 for 2014 actually. Then started the data journey, right? So, and what was happening during 2012 to 2014 is the AI was more like an academic thing before, and it was becoming more and more industrializations, and industry and the companies started using them. So it was a really pivotal part for me to really move from the ERP type of career then to the data type of career as a leader there. That's what happened. So things change, and you need to change the way the things are changing. And I never looked back to ERP, and I'm fully in the data and AI now.
That's a wonderful transition. Was there any moment where you kind of doubted the decision of being in the tape file ever?
Always the one thing data teaches you, if you're in a data and AI career, it teaches you one thing is you need to be resilience. You need to be perseverance too. And what it means is like things change in the data field often, right? When I started working on the data, on certain tools I used in the data historically in data warehouse and the data mart areas, those tools does not even exist. If I say the name of those tools, you might not have heard about it, So it makes you learn. And to learn something, you need to unlearn something. So it's always makes you continue to pivot and think differently, right? So sometimes you do feel that I should have worked in something else, but the data field is such a great thing that it allows you to change your thinking continuously, and it's never static anyway. The data and the AI field is never static. So it's, even though I'm in a data, things have changed over time. A lot more changes happen in these areas than any other area in the industry right now.
Got it. So it's all about learning and again unlearning things, right? Because things are changing so fast.
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, before I know we are going to talk about the things that early career tech professionals should focus on, all the frameworks and principles after this. But before that, I really want the audience to get an idea of what the 2026 tech career looks like right now. Opportunities के कस्ता छन्, let's say what new roles are emerging, what roles are gonna fade. What is the snapshot of 2026 tech career market?
The one thing again for me, what I'm looking at, right, looking at the holistic thing for me is like more and more the individual contributor role. For example, if you're writing a code, or if you're doing a QA type of work, manual QA type of work, or your data engineering type of work you're doing, right? If it's a purely based on the code generations, code writing, those will sift. The code will be more and more, I called is a vibe coding, or no code, low code based softwares are available. There is agentic applications which can do more and more coding for you. So you probably will review the code. You probably will not write a code, right? So that is one of the major changes. If you have been working and really writing a lot of code base, I think that is going to change. That is going to change. But also parallel, what is going to come? Let's talk about what is going to come. I think we really need, if I'm looking at my vantage point, we really need certain career, like, we need AI product manager type of career, right?
Looks like Sudeep
The
Dai
government,
is. Oh, yeah.
right? Government really critical. The AI governance, risk management, those kind of stuff is really, really critical. Are you able to hear me okay?
You just got caught
Okay.
Alka Agadi
So
when you
governance
were
roles are
talking
really
about. Yeah.
on AI side. AI architecture roles are becoming more and more critical, right? So there are certain work probably will change, but certain works are coming. What will continue to get evolved is knowing the domain. Like, you
Mhm.
need to understand the domain. You need to understand the cross domains. You need to know how to integrate the things. Really need to bring the compliance aspect. You need to bring the security aspect. I think that whole thing is getting more and more um, popular or desirable. Rather than you working in one lane, I think working on a diverse lane, a cross domain is what we need more, or the people need more, right? So things will change in 2026, but this will change further. 27, 28, you'll see major change on the individual contributor role, but you become more and more orchestrator role, right? That's how it will be.
Wonderful. So it's basically about not competing with AI itself. It's more like learning to work alongside AI, right?
Exactly. So AI will be your it will augment what you used to do, but it also will give you some opportunities to do something new, right? So you need to know what are those new things so you can continuously change and unlearn and relearn things, right? Based on the market demand. Yes.
That's a very thoughtful one. And now, since we are already talking about early career professionals and being in a leadership position and all that, if somebody in the room today is starting their career journey, right? What are the first five things that they need to focus on to prepare themselves for a future leadership position in tech, not just an individual contributor like a coder, Someone to be in a leadership position, what should they focus now? The first five things.
The one thing I always say is um, there are a couple of things. The first one is you always need to um, do more than coding work, right? You're doing a coding work, but you need to understand the business itself, So if you do not understand the impact of your work to the business or business itself or domain expertise itself, I think that's where we need to focus on, right?
Mhm.
Primarily understanding business, understanding domain, and understanding cross domain. For example, how the customer and product will work together or business process impact standpoint. So we need to understand that. That's one area I really, really recommend. The second area I recommend is like most of the time when you're working in any company or any processes, you find that the processes has some limitations. Processes and you take in charge. Nobody needs to tell you you do this, right? You need to take in charge and you need to do work, even not define leadership work. You need to really lead the team without having people reporting to you, right? That's how you need to find the opportunities and really, really work on that. The third thing I feel is storytelling and communications.
Mhm.
At the end, communication and storytelling is very, very critical for your success. More you understand that, more you elevate yourself to talk about what you're doing and how you're impacting, understand the logical reasoning, understand the impact, what you're bringing, etc., etc. That is going to help you, right? The fourth one I always think is like most of the time, as you grow as a leader, there is no defined black and white answer. You need to take a decision where there is a gray also. So you need to be very comfortable working in a project where there are ambiguities. If you cannot handle ambiguities, I think you will struggle to lead the team, right? Ambiguities are always there. And those kind of things. I see, I think we need to develop various different type of, I call soft skills and some functional skills to grow as a leader.
Got it. So if I'm summarizing that right, things that's going to matter early on would be number one, the domain knowledge, right? Knowledge of the industry. Second would be the cross-domain knowledge. Third would be the human core skills like communication skills, storytelling, right? And fourth would be the ability to work with a diverse team, right? Work in ambiguity,
Yes.
or let's say not so fixed environment. Wonderful, very well put. And now I'm really curious to understand, since we talked about like early career professional to being in a leadership position, what does the timeline look like? What have you noticed? Is it different than the any other industries, or does it play differently in tech? How long does it take for a person starting today to get into a leadership position?
So first thing, what I'll say is, as early professional career, I always say that you need to build your depth. Whatever you are doing, you need to build your depth. Now, if you're coding in Python, you need to super understand about different Python classes, how to use it in different scenarios. You really need to understand the depth. And to understand the depth of anything you're doing, again, you need to be versatile. I think it takes around 3 to 4 years, like you really need to understand that. So once you understand it, because I'm from the technology background, so I always talk through the technology lens, and it doesn't need to be all the time technology lens, but I'm primarily giving an example of technology. So then you need to start breadth, right? So first you start with SME, I call subject matter expert. So you really build that depth. And once you understand the depth, then you need to understand the width. Now, to understand that, first SME, then managerial skill you develop. Either it's a project management skill, resource management skill, the financial management skill, the different cross-domain skills, the interpersonal skills, the influence skills, the communication skills, all those, whatever that is, that I'm calling as managerial skills. That is what you need to develop, right? So to develop managerial skill, typically I've seen is like probably within 7 years of career, if they are going in a faster track, they will develop that managerial type of skill. They understand the impact on the finance side of their product, what they're building, et cetera, et cetera. Then your leadership skills come. So leadership skills standpoint, what I do see is one thing is very critical in leadership skill is you're enabling your team to do the work. You are enabler. It's not that you are the best person in the group, but you are enabling what your team does, right? That's one thing. The second one is negotiation skills. As a leader, you need to know that everything you do, or sometimes you win, sometimes you do not win the work you're doing. So it's very important for you to really understand what are the area you want to focus as a winner. Sometimes it's okay to lose also. And then the negotiation skill is very, very important. How to negotiate, right? So to build, this is how your career trajectory will go. So you need to understand how to navigate them. As a leader, sometimes you need to come as SME. So you need to also have that, I call helicopter effect, right? Even though you're a leader, if you understand the depth, it's always good to support your team. It's not that you're solving a problem for them, but you're asking good questions for them, right? So, and that's where you need to know how to navigate with a leader, managerial managerial work and the leadership work, right? That's how I do see how you grow. But if you don't work on the ambiguities, if you don't work on the grays, I think it's very difficult to lead the team.
Wonderful, very well explained. And now I also want to mention for the audience that have joined, guys, if you guys have any question when we are discussing all these panel questions and discussing the different terms and all that, please feel free to put them in the chat. I'll make sure I take a look at it and I'll bring that question to Sudeep ji as well. So please feel free to drop the questions at any point during the session if you haven't, okay? That, and I know you mentioned a lot of human core skills, right? Negotiation skills, interpersonal skill, leadership. All of them are like incredibly valuable to be relevant in tech market alongside AI, especially. So what I'm really curious about is to learn about how storytelling works in data. What does it look like using storytelling in a tech career?
On the storytelling standpoint, usually for me is like, whatever you do, you need to know how it impacts the business you're supporting or the company you're supporting, the process you're supporting, right? What it means, let's take an example. You are working on the optimization problem, so that particular problem is to optimize the resources needed to support the work, whatever that resource, as a human resource or mechanical resource, the artificial resource, whatever that is, right? So you're working on optimization problem and you're really trying to make sure that you optimize the process, but then you need to understand what it means, what value this optimization problem is adding to the efficiency, or it's adding to the productivity of the company, or even saving the bottom line of the company, right? If you can really understand the business impact from your work, I think that's how you start telling the story. Your task is not visible, your impact is visible. So focus on your impact rather than task, right? And this is where early career, I think when you're building your depth, you try not to focus on impact. And I think that's where I think the impact becomes more and more critical.
Mm-hmm. I hope everyone took a note of that. It's about being able to convey the impact properly, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, what I've noticed, or let's say what we have noticed is there are very few people, Nepali people especially in US, who have got into the leadership position in tech, right? One of them is you, without any doubt. Takeda, which is like one of the Fortune 500 companies, and you are the head of the data enterprise and innovation. We don't see many Nepali professionals in the C-level position, right? What is it that separates person who are able to climb that ladder of leadership in tech, and those people who stay stuck in particular level and some mid plateau? What differentiates those people?
I will go back to the similar thing what I've spoken, right? Mm-hmm. So I think when you start your career, you will always notice that your job description gives you ABC to do, whatever that job description is. But you like to do ABC and you like to do something here and there, right? Uh-huh. Don't ask for permission to expand your work. Sometimes is, hey, I'm focused on this particular work. I can do that, great. But really try to see that where you can help more, right? If you build your career on doing what your job asks you to do, I think you're limiting yourself, because you as an individual has more capability than what your job needs you to do. Mm-hmm. The first time is that is the point that you need to find the adjacent thing, what you can do more. Help people, talk to people. The second thing is, I think influencing people is very, very critical. Mm-hmm. You need to know how to lead up. That means how to lead your managers, or their managers, or to lead down, how to lead your team, how to work with a peer, right? So I think it's very important to understand that navigations about the influencing. Influencing is the other areas, because one thing is given today is everybody is good at the core skill. But understanding the adjacent skills makes you different than the core skills, because everybody will work on the core skills, right? And then also one thing I also found is really when you're working, for example, I'll give you one example, is like I was working on a project where we were investing a lot of money to bring it was a vertical storage, like you store the material on a vertical space, and it was a multi-million-dollar project. So we brought that work, and I was part of that, really saying this is a great product to bring in. And we bring in, within a year or two, we realize that's not as a great product, which we invested so much. Then I went back and said that this is not a great product. We need to take it out. So sometimes you need to realize that a great product today is a not great product for tomorrow. And if you do not have ability to move on, detach of your work, and really pivot from, okay, I understand this was a great at the time. Now I did it, understand, but I'm the one, I'm going to retire it. I think that kind of stuff is really, really critical for you to understand that, things you do today, maybe it's a great thing. Tomorrow it might have a zero value. Early understanding and really acknowledging that and taking that position, saying, okay, I did a mistake. This is the right way of doing it. I think it's very, very important to grow.
Nice.
You need to take accountability. You need to take accountability to grow. It's you decide.
That is very well put. I know being in a data field, we are taught to not focus on our emotions, right? Look at the numbers and look at what evidences and facts say. I guess that circle back to the main idea as well. By the way, we actually have a question in the chat. Somebody said, how can I delegate better? Some people in my team don't carry their weight, and I feel like that might be me not communicating it well. How can I be better at influencing my team? Would love to hear your perspective on that.
So one thing is given for as you work as a leader, one thing is given is every individual within your team has a right intent. They are there to do the right thing for a company. And it's been long now, but I was teaching because I wanted to teach some of the Python classes to school kids, very young school kids, like till 6th grader, 7th grader. I was teaching that, and I was trying to tell them how to draw a rectangle. Right? I was saying that, hey, you start from here, go right, go left, etc., etc. And then very good gentleman comes and does very differently. He creates a rectangle moving in the diagonal boxes with much less code than I did. Like probably I was using 100 lines of code. He does in 32 different lines of code, and brilliantly he does it. And I realized one thing is, okay, for me, the way I think about outcome and the steps I take for that outcome is very different for other people. It's not same. So if you are outcome driven, I think you need to communicate the outcome to your team, not the steps to the team, not the task to the team, because they might take a different steps to arrive at the same outcome you're looking at. Sometimes what happens is, if you're a mid-level manager, you are not giving the outcome. You are primarily telling them do ABC, right? And then you feel like, okay, this guy is not doing B the way I wanted. But it's not about ABC. It's about what is the end. you're looking for. I think that needs to be communicated very well, to really make things better for them. So and leave them independent, you know.
Nice. So if I have to summarize this right, it's better to communicate outcome more than communicate the steps, right? Because not everyone operates the same way.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Another thing is we hear a lot of hype about AI, right? AI is going to do this, AI is going to do that, AI is going to take your job and all that. Based on your experience across pharma, across technology, across our tech, manufacturing, and all that, how are these industries actually integrating AI without the buzzword and without the hype? What does it actually look like internally using AI in the industry?
You know, and I will specifically in the broad range of industry, you know, as I'm aware, right? When you talk about the AI and the work happening in AI, I think when you divide that into the couple of different steps, right? The first one for me is there are a lot of company are doing some sort of AI assistance, right? There are a lot of company. The AI assistance is like really using AI to augment some of the work they are doing, like Copilot, for example, right? So that kind of work is happening within the company, and there's a lot of people doing that. The second area of the work the company is using is every hyperscaler, either you talk about AWS or Google or Microsoft, this hyperscaler has I call AI services. Either it is called Agent Core, Agent 360, a lot of different names, but you know that the hyperscaler has that. And what company has started doing is they have started using that hyperscaler, the agentic services for certain areas of improvement, right? Now, on that areas of improvements, it might be efficiency type of improvement. For example, can I use a couple of services to read the document better? Now, you know, within the company, if you look into, we have so much of I call unstructured data. You know, like we get so much of documents. There's so much of unstructured data. How to read that document, and once we read that document, how to ensure that those documents are easy to understand, right? Or the documents are really needed, for example, right? So I think in different ways, right? That's one area they are working. The third area they are working on is like really, you know, historical some of the data science work they're working on, the data science work, right? Either it's a predictive modeling work, right? Or the optimization work or other work, which is data science. It historically did, but data science work also we are trying to bringing more through the concept of the agentic now, right? Like they are using LLMs and other topics. So they are doing a lot of work. Either it's a simple copilot, either it's a different, etc., etc. They're doing a lot of work in that way, right? So it's every company does a little bit different, but these are the three different buckets I can talk about.
That's very well put. Now, building on that and talking about the political scenario, geopolitical scenario, and the policy issues that we are facing in 2026, right? The immigration policy, the AI regulation, the geopolitical tension, and all that. Thinking from the perspective of an international student in US who is planning to enter into tech, all the circumstances, all these changes, do they present a unique challenge for an international student, especially in the tech market, or are there advantages that they are overlooking? How does it work from the perspective of an international student in US?
You know, I'll talk about AI regulation in different ways first. That the AI regulation is a good for the student because that brings a lot of work, right? For example, it might be risk-based work. It might be I called a governance type of work, because at the end, technology portion of AI is probably 20% of the work. 80% of the work is how to integrate AI in your business process, how to govern them, monitor them, how to ensure that they are behaving the way it should be behaving. So 80% of the work is not the technology type of work. It's more boundaries, integration. It's more like that kind of work. So I think the AI regulation is good for AI itself and good for us, because we are really trying to figure it out what it means in a holistic way. Because we are working, we always try to work in, I call the deterministic way. We know that ABC needs to be done, and the AI is more like probabilistic way, right? So there is a huge difference between the deterministic thinking versus probabilistic thinking, right? That's a difference, right? So AI regulation is good for the people, but we need to figure it out where to tackle that, right? Now, the other areas like immigration, for example, let's talk about that, right? For me, is if you are building your knowledge base as AI product manager or AI platform engineer or risk and governance person, geography is not a concern. You know, geographically, you can do that work from anywhere, but you need to be what you need to develop is you need to develop that influency and influence capability, etc. geographically. So it's becoming really critical right now, is where to focus, from where, where to focus, right, within the lot of things, and how to navigate also. For example, is there a new type of job? Yes, there are new types of job. What is happening to the old type of job is old type of jobs are getting rewritten now. Don't expect that what your friend did 3 years ago, if you are your parents told you, or your teachers told you, or your siblings are doing, is not now. Things are changing in the rapid scale. So, but you also need to navigate that what industry needs today. What industry needs today is probably not in your curriculum, right? So you really need to figure it out. But the immigration policies are making it's a reality, but making, like, if you look into what Nepal government is trying to do, is Nepal government wants more AI and the software professionals in Nepal, for example. Indian government still is struggling with the right talent. There's a lot of work is going to India right now, right? So I think there is a lot of different avenues to really embed yourself if there is immigration issues. But geography is just a concern. You need to find the signals primarily, where the signals are coming from, and how to really navigate that signals or go towards that signals is very important right now.
That's true. And now, I guess I saw a question actually. Somebody put a question related to, okay, there's something like this. I'm building a startup, but we don't use AI as much besides ChatGPT and cloud. How can we effectively use AI to make our workflows better and for better system architecture?
And I do not know about the exact startup. What, again, I always think through what is outcome you are looking for, right? But if the outcome is technological outcome or the software outcome or whatever that any in the technology or the white collar job type of or outcomes, right? You need to embed AI. You need to be AI first. As a startup, you need to be AI first. All the work needs to tie back to the AI as a startup, right? You cannot use only the Copilot, for example, or you need to expand that, right? You need to really try to see that how you can embed AI for your productivity gain first. Like, if you want to hire 10 resources, probably you can do in the 4 resources, because you can create a productivity and other thing. So I think you need to embed within your startup, and also you need to embed AI within your product also.
Now, talking about I know it will be a very vague question if I ask you about like generic AI tools that they can use, or if you could give an example of a particular startup in a particular industry. If they're starting off, what could be the different tools that you can name it?
The good news is, first start with the first level of starting is nothing but understanding Copilot, for example, or ChatGPT, for example, but also prompting, right? How you can prompt them better. That's the first layer, right? Like understanding using them and prompting them. The second layer of a maturity then becomes is like, can you add more, like I call the no code, low code software or application on top of that. For example, underneath you are using ChatGPT or prompt engineering, but on the top you are creating applications which is using low code platform like Lovable, whether you've worked on Lovable or not, but low code and no code platform like Lovable, so that you're creating an application, but underlying it's primarily prompting with certain small architecture, right? The third layer becomes more like, I think AI engineering is becoming really, really critical, right? Like how to embed AI engineering in a way within these two layers becomes critical. Then the fourth layer becomes more like how you're changing the business process end to end. That means, it's not only about engineering it, but also looking at the different ways of different different areas, and how you're integrating the ecosystem becomes, that is a fourth layer, right? And then the fifth layer is the enterprise ecosystem, how you're enabling the enterprise ecosystem. But really, I think the prompting is the first, and then the second one is a low code, no code, where you're creating application based on prompt. And the third layer becomes more like AI engineering end to end. You're orchestrating. That probably is the 3 steps I really recommend you to go through.
Wonderful. That's very structured. I like it. And now, since we talk about different AI tools for a tech person, right? How does a non so technical person, let's say somebody who's not very knowledgeable about using AI tools, like sophisticated AI tools, how does using AI for a non technical person look like? How can they integrate in their day to day life? And what could be the examples of that?
Okay, so AI is so, for example, if you're a finance person, right, and now a lot of things you do um, also supports the finance processes. One of the things what Cloudy did a couple of weeks back is they created something on the legal system side, right? A lot of questions regarding legal you can ask through the cloud front end now. I think whatever business process you focus today, you will find some sort of LLM. It doesn't need to be ChatGPT. It can be cloud. It can be Llama. You'll find some sort of LLM supporting that particular domain. So I will be surprised if there is any domain which is not touched through. One thing is you need to feel comfortable using it. It's you. The model exists today. It's you. You need to come out from your thinking that I do not know the system. No, you need to learn. And today, if you can use your whatever that Instagram account, that means you can use any system available, right? So you need to come out from that, and you need to use it. More you use it, you learn more.
Makes sense. And making it more specific to marketing side, because that is a question that we have in the chat right now. Dipesh asks, how can we use AI in marketing? How do people in marketing leverage AI to scale?
And content development has changed drastically.
Mhm.
The now videos are made through AI. The content development has changed drastically, and it's all about prompting, and there are certain MCPs built for the video content. Um, I do not know the site's name right now. It's not coming from for me, but there are a lot of content development. Um, I think it's called mcp.io or something site, but you'll find a lot of content development sites right now which you can use to really create the content.
Mhm.
And either it's a video or the marketing material. It's much more easier. This is all about prompting, what kind of a prompt you need to put in to generate the content, right? It's much more easier than you feel it, right? It's only about practicing and understanding which particular there's a lot of .io sites now, which particular sites provides you the content you're looking at. Adobe has a site, I think, which does a lot of content, auto content generation, also for the marketing.
Wonderful. And I kind of relate to you because yesterday I was kind of exploring the GPTs in ChatGPT, and there was one that says Canva. And I was like, let me try it, how it works. And then it provided a whole 4 different options for my LinkedIn banner. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Now ChatGPT is helping with the content creation thing as well. So makes sense when you say there are different AI tools which can be used to generate content. Now, talking about prompt engineering, you mentioned prompt engineering a lot of time, right? So I want to know what different roles are going to emerge by 2035 that not everyone has thought about. One is prompt engineering, that is like
Mhm.
all over the place. We hear about that a lot. But what different roles are going to emerge that people have not yet thought about?
Prompt engineering probably is becoming a little bit older now, right?
Mhm.
And now more and more the context engineering is emerging. What is context engineering? The context engineering is, think that one agent talking to other agent, right?
Mhm.
Like we as a human, we have when we're talking to each other, we can correlate what you're thinking based on your body language, based on your so many other areas like communication, like talk, everything, right? And we can relate that, and we can answer even though you answer your questions. And but when agents talk to each other, they need a context.
Mhm.
Now, that for that context, there is a term which is getting evolved a lot. It's called ontology.
Ontology.
Right? Now, we need to be more like context engineer now. We need to understand the context more and more. So ontology is one word. Probably, if you're not remembering anything from this discussion, remember the word called ontology more. It's one area which is going to refine how these agents are going to talk, how the context needs to be shared between the agents, right? Because that's one area. Like by 2035, if you look into, I think there will be more and more, but definitely there will be more and more work these agents will be performing. Maybe they will be called different, but these agents will become more and more autonomous. Today, they're augmenting you, they're helping you or assisting you, augmenting you.
Mhm.
Tomorrow, they will be much more, they will be more autonomous, right? They will talk to each other. They're already talking to each other, but they will talk to each other, or they will learn through each other. But everything underlying that is a context, right? To develop the context, you need to work on a data. To work on a data, you need to understand the domain. Look, at the end, it is the business understanding is going to help you to understand the domain, understand the context, develop those context. Now, I do not know what is going to happen in 2020 and 35. The reason I can say is last 10 years, if I look into what happened, things have changed so rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
If you are saying this is ABC is going to happen 2035, you're lying, because it's too far.
Mm-hmm.
To ask me what is going to happen in 3 years' time, I think that is risky either. Also, so but as a person, I think whatever happens doesn't matter. You need to know what market needs. You need to know how to learn and unlearn, because we all have a lot of packages with us. So you need to be always in the learning mode, right? Things will be changing more rapidly. So nobody can even talk about 2000, end of 2028, 2029. Things we do not know what's happening in 2035,
That's true. That's true. And there's a lot of depth in what you have just shared. And there's a lot to unpack as well. And I know we are getting closer to the top of the hour. It's almost 8. There's like 8 minutes left. So we'll open it up for the audience Q&A now. Guys, now is the time you can ask your question directly to the speaker. So let's do one thing. You can raise your hand. I'll call your name. Then you can unmute your mic and ask your question directly to the speaker. That would be our best way to go ahead. If you are not comfortable unmuting your mic and asking the question, that's fine too. You can still put the questions in the chat. I'll read it out to Sudeep Dai. We have a few questions already, though. Let's start with the one that Deepesh has asked. He says, can AI fully replace editors and graphic designers? Should we prioritize investing in AI tools or focus more on hiring the human talent?
AI will do a lot of work which editors will do. Look, for sure, will it replace? It's probably not immediately, right? Maybe it will in future sometime. But the all the work the editor and the graphic designers are doing needs to be augmented by AI right now. We need to start using AI as a part of the development process. So it helps you to learn, and it also helps you to find the limitations where AI cannot scale and the human can scale, right? So it's more like AI needs to be companion as you grow, or as you build your team, or as you grow as a professional. It needs to be companion, and always we need to work with AI. That's how I see it.
Wonderful. And now there is another question that Avinandini has shared. I would really like her to ask this question directly to Sudeep Dai if she's comfortable. Avinandini, do you want to go ahead or? Yeah, wonderful.
I had like a couple of questions, but this is one of the questions I had. So previously, I have a working experience as a PHP developer, but I came here back in 2024, and I'm currently looking for software engineering roles. So I figured out that while applying, there are like certain things are changing, and new technologies are coming up. So I figured out that PHP is not relevant anymore. So how do you, um, just catch up with the new languages and tools?
So so for me, this is a typical question, I also get it, right? So PHP, the .NET, the whatever the tool and those tools you've been working, Perl and other thing, I think that becomes more and more that can be automated, right? What you need to do is, for me, is like learn about the prompt engineering, which is lowest, or the context engineering, which is a little bit complex than the prompt engineering. Context engineering, probably I'll give in level 3. Learning about that, learning about some of the work you could do in the no code and low code type of scenarios, and putting in the GitHub, right? So So what I heard from one of my friends and relatives is like creating the projects, at least 4 to 5 projects and putting in the GitHub is very, very critical when you go for interviews, right? Now, and all these projects should somehow augment and enhance the agentic life cycle, right? Whatever that you want to do, that's how you need to think about. And this is where your education, the college educations probably, or undergrad, postgrad education might not help you directly. So this is where you need to figure it out how to build your career parallel to learn all these, like either it's a AI product management skill, AI platform engineering skill, something you need to think through that.
Yeah.
You know.
The thing I was really interested, like when you were speaking before, you were talking about storytelling, and I really relate to that. When I'm applying, for me, I do believe that there are always storytelling behind why I'm applying for the role and why I'm interested. But I need to be open to a lot of roles right now, and to open up to a lot of positions, but I cannot build storytelling with all the jobs I applied. So how do you think is a good way to prove that I'm good for the job?
So the what the interviewer looks at is, when I'm interviewing primarily, I look into a couple of things. Definitely, I looked into depth and knowledge side, but also I look into is whether this person is culturally fit or not, and this person can learn or not. I think one thing for me when I'm looking at like learning ability is very, very critical, right? Because things is going to change. Whatever you do today, whatever you learn today, 18 months time, that will be very different altogether. So we need to figure it out how we can change and learn, right? So when you're talking to the interviewer, I think you need to be very first so the confident. The second one is also so that you have a content, you have ability to learn. You have given example, I was doing X, but then Y opportunity came and I could take the Y, but for that, I had to do a lot of learning, understanding, talking to the people. That's fine, I can take that challenge, right? It's all about maneuvering from A to B, X to Y, how you've done that. That kind of explanation is very, very important. So that means you can do not what you've written in the resume, but you can do more if you get a chance to do that.
Thank you. That helps. And I am actually applying. I have like experience for data and ERP too. So I was really interested to get to this event, and it was really helpful.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, guys. Does anybody else have any questions? Please feel free to raise your hand. And if you're not comfortable doing that, let us know in the chat. While you guys do that, I actually kind of had a question earlier and I lost the track of it. But that's fine. We have a rapid fire round. If you guys have any question, please feel free to drop in the chat though. We'll get to those questions after we're done with the rapid fire round, if we have any. So here's the fun part. This is what I've been waiting for throughout the session today. So I'm going to be asking you around 8 to 10 questions, just few words, 1 or 2 words to answer each questions. And that way we have like a 60 minute summary in 60 seconds. Are you ready?
Great. Go ahead.
Right. Wonderful. Let's get the tempo up. So, question number 1 is specialist or generalist for a long-term leadership?
Generalist.
Generalist. Technical depth or business breadth? What accelerates the career faster?
You need to have both.
Both. Early risk or safe progression?
Early risk.
Early risk. One skill every AI professional must master by 2026.
This is a tough one.
This is a tough one.
For me is be comfortable knowing that things are changing and you're ready to learn. Be
Wonderful.
comfortable on that.
Wonderful. Most overrated AI trend right now.
Overrated AI trend. I think the overrated, at least for a couple of the years, the overrated trend is AI is going to replace everything. I think that's overrated. For a couple of years, we do not know. I do not know after 3 years, but at least right now, the AI is going to change the way we work for sure. But it is going to change everything what we do, probably not.
Wonderful. Promotion or influence? What matters more?
First is you need to influence to get promotion. You will
Nice.
not get promotion if you're not influencing.
Very well put. Build credibility through results or build credibility through relationships?
For long run, it's results.
Wonderful. AI will replace more roles or create more roles?
AI will replace the existing roles, but AI is going to create a lot of different new roles also.
Very well put. Now finish the sentence. Careers stagnate when people, like careers slow down when people dash.
Don't take risk.
Very well put. That was sharp. Wonderful. We have Hira with a question. Go ahead. Unmute your mic and ask the question.
Hi. Thank you so much for that, for all of the explanations and the presentation. I have a question about this culturally. You mentioned something about like whether this person is culturally fit or not. I have been not so much struggling. I'm just very curious about that. I have spent my past 13, 14 years in academic research, mostly in that area, and very interested to make a switch into industry. And I haven't been actively seeking any positions at the moment, but I've also noticed from some experience that industry is not very receptive to professionals in the academia background, especially in the management positions, clunkers. Is that just a myth, or do you have any? Is this a matter of cultural fitness, or is it something else? Just curious.
The one thing the academic does really, really good is storytelling, right? So from the storytelling standpoint, I've seen the academics does a lot more thing, publications, etc. Right. One thing academic probably does not teach is, I call it delivery ownership. That means, what happens usually is you deliver something, and whatever you deliver, you own it also, right? Academic is more like you deliver, right? So I think when when you are working with the interviewer, or when you are thinking through, I think that ownership and accountability aspect also needs to come in a way that, hey, everything you do, if you're working a 7 thing, 3 things is going to fail. Right. Now, how you can take accountability of 3 things which is failing also when something is going good, right? I think that's where I think we need to ensure that when you're talking, make sure that you also talk about accountability and ownership on the failure side, right? Like, this is how I take accountability, and when I'm talking the cultural fit, I'm talking about like some company are very relationship driven companies, some companies are very outcome driven company, some companies are the process driven companies, some companies are, there are different ways. Like East Coast works very differently, West Coast work very differently. So we need to figure it out, which you like fast moving company, you like process company, you what kind of companies. I think that you'll figure it out, that, but that's where the culture comes in.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Really well explained. Guys, does anybody else have any question? If not, we are getting close to the top of the hour, we're even past 8, which means we might have to bring this conversation to a close. Sudeep Dai, thank you so much for being here. I know starting in data career, I have experienced it myself because it's changing so fast and because there's huge volume of information online. We don't actually figure out the strategy on starting the right way, right? Thank you so much for bringing light to the subject, to the topic. I learned a lot. I know the audience learned a lot. And thank you so much, everyone who showed up. I know what a privilege is it that I get to meet you people every other week on Wednesday and learn alongside you with wonderful experts in US, right? Really grateful, and we are always looking forward to making it better every other time. We carefully look at those feedbacks that you provide us. So I've just dropped a short feedback form in the chat. Please feel free to write what you think about today's session, what went right, what could be improved, what you would love to see in our upcoming sessions. We promise you we'll look at those and we really use those to plan our further sessions. I would love you guys doing that. And I'll repeat again. So Sudita is one of the judges for our Nepal US Hackathon 2026 happening from March 27 to 29. I also took part in the earlier years competition. I knew not much about AI and not much about data, but I still gave it a try. And I was actually one of the categorical winners. So it's for everyone. It's for beginners. You will find a team, right? Even if you are unsure how you will contribute, maybe you can contribute in making slides and all that. So there is always something that you can do in a team. So give it a shot. It's always going to be worth it. And go find Nepali Leaders Network in LinkedIn and in social media, Instagram and all the social media. And go to the bio. You will have the link of the application form right there. So fill it up. And so for our next hackathon happening on 2026, we'd love to see you guys there as well. Plus, if you loved our session today, we're hosting a